Former British Army officer and Special Forces soldier Adrian Hayes has climbed the world's most dangerous mountains, achieving 2 Guinness World Records for his polar expeditions. The author and keynote speaker has been featured on numerous documentaries and has visited over 100 countries in the world. And he joins us in the studio today to share his extraordinary journey. So we are asking you on our socials what you would like to ask Adrian about reaching your goals and summiting your ultimate goals. Please don't forget to use our hashtag Afternoon Express in your comments. But first, let's have a look at some of his great adventures.
Oh, top of the world. I did it because I believed I could do it.
I'm really glad the frostbite is healed off your nose. Welcome to the show.
Great to be on. Thanks so much.
What brings you to South Africa?
So I'm here to do my launch of my new book, One Man's Climb, A Journey of Trauma, Tragedy and Triumph on K2. So we're launching it in South Africa this week. We've got a whole series of events in Cape Town and Johannesburg. So great to be back in the country. I come here quite frequently.
Whenever I interview great people, I always am so inspired, and I always like to think, what is it that these people have in them that separates them from regular people? And how did you become brave? Because we're discussing courage and bravery on the show today.
So I always think it always goes back to our childhood, everything. You know, the values, the stuff we create. You know, and I just had these dreams as a young boy of climbing mountains and going to polar extremes and all the rest, really since I was about 10, 11, 12 years of age. So what causes that? It's all part of, you know, order of birth, a childhood upbringing, education, everything sort of creates who we are. Yeah,
but I heard that you had never even spoken to a girl until you were 18 years old and didn't have inner confidence or courage to go and play sport or anything, and then it all changed when you joined the Army and the Special Forces unit.
Yeah, I mean, I was good at sport, that's the thing, but I didn't have the self-belief to really maximise my potential. And it was only, so joining the Army, Special Forces Army officer, became a Gurkha officer, and then got into the whole world of personal development. That sort of really gave me the tools, the techniques, and all the models that all of us, I think, need in this very crazy life we lead.
I think you put your body and your mind through so many things with Special Forces. What exactly is the Special Forces? And how do you have to be a machine, basically?
Yeah, look, I think not. There's a lot of sort of stereotypes. People think that Special Forces soldiers
like a James Bond.
Sort of alpha males and all that testosterone sort of thing. No, we're not. You can't do with all that sort of stuff. So it's real connection, communication, listening, all that side of things. So it's not what people mention. Now, Special Forces around the whole world. I was just in one British regiment. But it was a great learning experience, of course, and then officer training at Sandhurst. You know, all the things we've done. I've got this motto, life is for learning, and you're talking about, you know, building courageous kids. If we stay in our comfort zones in front of our screens, we'll never learn anything in this life. So it's just getting out there and pushing yourself to whatever you can achieve the best you can be.
I've started doing these ice baths every morning, going and submerging myself in the ocean for 15 minutes. It's so hard because once you're in the water and you're so cold, your body adjusts quite quickly, but then getting out, it's terrible. Tell me about some of the polar extremes that you've put your body through.
Yeah, so on walking to the North Pole from the coast of Canada, we went down to about minus 60 degrees Celsius one night. Now, I've got to put this because minus 30 is quite common in Lapland, in northern Siberia, in Canada. We can all survive that. When it goes below 30, it goes into a tailspin. The effects go horrendous. So I think my internal thermometer sort of went crazy because I've never been able to deal with heat since then days. So it was extreme. I mean, we can't survive at those sort of temperatures, as we can't at altitude. You know, we're not built to survive at these places, which makes it so special, makes it such a challenge and a monumental thing to try and achieve.
You've put yourself in really hair-raising situations. Have you ever been scared, and have you ever thought that, oh, I'm pushing myself now to the edge of life?
Yes, I have, but it's quite funny that when you're in that moment of, you know, all hell's broken loose and you're really in the in the whatever, the 4-letter word, which I won't mention on TV. But it's funny, an eerie calmness comes over me in those sort of circumstances. Right, we're in this problem. OK, got the skills, got the equipment, got the physical attributes. What's the options of getting out of this thing? So you go into sort of this problem-solving mindset rather than going, oh, woe is me and I'm doomed. So it's quite funny. The more you do it, the better you become at it. So it's quite conversely what people will think.
In order to do things like that, do you think you have to be physically exceptional? And can you teach yourself the kind of discipline that it takes to do that? Can any normal person do that?
Yes and no. I mean, I sometimes people see my seminars and someone says, Mr. Adrian, I want to climb Everest. And I ask them, well, it's great, it's possible, but how much physical fitness do you do? I say, nothing at all. I smoke 20 cigarettes a day, 40 cigarettes. I drink 5 pints of beer, whatever. So, you've got to have the values within you to better push yourself. But I think if you've got the goal and the clear goal and you're passionate about it, then you can achieve everything. But it's getting that mental state first and then the physical state sort of follows on. Yeah,
you've certainly broken all those barriers in terms of discipline. Because I think, was it when you were crossing the Arabian Desert, you taught yourself Nepalese and Arabic?
Yeah, I learned Nepalese with the Gurkhas because I was Gurkha officer. I learned Arabic when I was serving with the Oman Armed Forces. So I learned two languages, which has been pretty useful throughout then. So, again, I say life is for learning. It's just pushing yourselves, but it's not all being great joys and great. There's hardships as well. Sure. But if you go through life, if you ask people through life, do you want to go a flat line and nothing ever happens, or the highs are the highs, or the lowest are the lows? Because it's in the deepest lows you have your greatest learnings. Yeah. And I've been through some lows as well as highs. I'm sure. And I mean, you don't get to greater highs really than K2. So your latest book is about your journey through K2. Tell me about that experience. I mean, summiting that must be a feeling that nothing else can beat, really. Yeah, I mean, look, I summited Everest in 2006. Everest is obviously the highest mountain in the world. To mountaineers, K2 is the crown jewels. It's the gold medal. It's the most difficult challenge in mountaineering. And it's a completely different ball game. It's technical ice, technical rock. It's dangerous. It's got all sorts of challenges. So I think I was very lucky. Again, 2 years. Tragically, the first year, friends of ours got killed on an avalanche. Wow. But, again, you push yourself for it. But what I really take away from that expedition is one's senses are so well enveloped. Your antennas are on fire. And it's just that gut instinct, that antennas, that observation. And again, the more you do it, the better you become. So luck does play a part. But again, the clear goal, the physical preparation, the planning, the preparation, and a great teammate as well. Wow, you literally are a real-life Superman. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Pleasure. And I think everybody should be reading your book. But now South Africa is really intrigued and they want to hear more about you. So they've been asking questions on our social media platforms all day. So what have they said?
Absolutely, Jeannie. So we've asked you on our social media, what would you ask Adrian about reaching your goals? And we've got Maimoipone Makotis that says, what advice would you give when it comes to having a goal-driven mentality?
Right, well, I think I'm pretty goal-driven myself, but what I've sort of learned over the years is being very specific about what exactly am I trying to achieve here? Yeah. That's the goal. And then ask yourself, for the sake of what? That becomes a deeper thing, because there's a lot of bluffing out there, And I've said before, I didn't go to the South Pole to raise awareness of climate change. I didn't go to the top of Everest to raise money for Nepal's poor or raise money for cancer going to K2. Being very, very specific what you're trying to achieve. Yeah. So what's your next goal? It's surviving South Africa for the week. It's got a huge tour. I haven't had any sleep yet, but anyway, we'll try and get through that. But look, I've got other things. The Himalayas, the 8,000-metre peaks in the Himalayas, it's always drawn me. Nepal's dear to my heart, so we'll go back there sometime. Amazing. You are so inspiring. Thank you so much for being here today.